Welcome, everyone, to another episode of It Builds Character. I'm Ted. This is Nerd Immersion. Hopefully this chat is working. Let's find out. Well, looks like it might be. Let's see if will this adjust? It will. Alright, I don't know why it kept the chat from last night, folks, but it did. So anyway, welcome. For some of you, this may be new information, or a new stream for you. Sorry, I might be yelling, because I realized I had both my earbuds in. So welcome to It Builds Character. This is a weekly Dungeons & Dragons character building show where I build a character that is suggested by you guys, whether it be a pop culture character from comics, movies, television, or otherwise, or something as simple as a build concept. Hey, can you build this character, blah, 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 blah. And that's what I do. Also, please let me know if my music is too loud in the chat, or if my audio is peaking or clipping. I did a bunch of mic adjustments, and I did a bunch of extensive testing. I didn't hear anything, but that doesn't mean that it won't come through in the final product. So please let me know. And to everybody else who may be seeing this for the first time, I'm probably only going to talk about this for one more week, and then it will just become a regular thing. But I am now streaming on multiple services. So if you could currently be watching this on Twitch, on YouTube, on Periscope, or on Mixer. I'm on all four of those platforms streaming at the same time. So, welcome if you're from one of the other sites. Hope you enjoy and stay, and I will just say that if anything pops up on the screen as far as comments or chat or things of that nature, it's heavily geared towards the Twitch chat. That's nothing against the other platforms, it's just that's what I set up first, and I haven't had a chance to set up all of my alerts and things for everything else. I don't even know if you can do that for Periscope. So we'll just have to kind of roll with the punches here as we go. So with that being said, let us jump into... Oh, we don't need that. Let us jump into tonight's character build. So this is going to be Howl, Wizard Howl. Just go with Howl from Howl's Moving Castle. So... I will preface this statement with, I watched Howl's Moving Castle when it came out in like 2004, probably realistically 2005 when I was in college. And that was the last time I watched that movie. So you're going to have to forgive me if I make some mistakes or if I need some help. So I would love, that's why I like to involve the chat. And I will involve all of the chats if there are people from other platforms that want to jump in and help out here. I will greatly appreciate that assistance as well. So let me give you a little bit of, again, because I watched this once a long time ago, got over 10 years at this current point. Studio Ghibli movies kind of blend together for me, so forgive me if I start mixing movies by remembering a character that's from a different movie. But let's talk. So first of all, I do also want to say that this was a birthday suggestion, or request rather, from Katie, aka at Lazy Mermaiden on Twitter. She's also in a bunch of my streams and stuff. So she's pretty cool, and her birthday is, if it's not today, it's soon, maybe tomorrow. And she had requested that I do this character for her birthday, and that's how I roll. So, and to Fraley, hey, how's it going? Things are going well. We're just getting started here. So how do you build Howl from Howl's Moving Castle? Part of the problem that I'm gonna see is 90% of the movie he is referred to as a wizard. Wizard Howl here, Howl Wizard, whatever it is, Jenkins, or whatever the name was before he left to enter into the world that he's currently in. So they constantly refer to the guy as a wizard. I'm not entirely convinced that he's a wizard. But there's definitely wizard-like tendencies in spots. Now, you can say that, oh, well, he could transform himself into different animals and beasts and things, so that you could argue druid, and I could see your point there. But I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that not really druid, more likely some sort of creature with access to the polymorph spell. Whether that be a wizard or otherwise. So I think that's how we'll deal with the transformation piece of things. Oh, I guess I also should say these are all going to be... All my characters are built using published sources. Unearthed Arcana is counted in that published source using standard array stats, 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 8, and built at level 12. Just that's my way of doing it. It's a pretty good chunk of the class available to you. And honestly, the 3 attacks and extra damage for level 11 for martial characters really helps to round things out. So we're going to go with human as his race, which I think is... That's something fairly simple. We can't really argue too much about. And then at the stats, I think it's going to be a little harder to deal with until we kind of determine what kind of class we're looking at here. So giving up your heart to basically a demon for its servitude, that sounds like a Warlock Pact to me. That just is what that invokes a Warlock Pact vibe to me. So we could argue Warlock, and probably not like Fiend Pact, although you could argue based on the fact that it's a demon. Fraley, yes. I don't start my at my table, but the characters that I build for It Builds character are all started at level 12. The games that I run, they don't start at level 12, and most of the games that I play in, they don't start at level 12. It's just, I feel like when you're building characters from pop culture, they need to be higher level, because usually the characters that people ask me to build are pretty badass in their own right, and a level 1 character isn't really that badass. Like last week I built, or 2 weeks ago, I built Captain America. And, you know, some of these character classes, you could argue, are probably level 20 or beyond. Like, I'd say most of the anime characters, depending on where you pick in the series they are probably epic level characters and then some, because they just have god-like abilities. And I just picked 12 as my number. I built a 20th level character because that was a character suggestion by someone. And I think a couple times I'd been like, oh, let's just make him level 13. That'll fix the problem of something. But for the most part, I try to build them at 12 because it gives me a fair amount of options. It also allows time and space for multi-classing, if that's a thing. So, like I said, what do we need to know? So basically, I think you can argue that Howl's doorway is a teleportation circle, a permanent teleportation circle. I think that that's reasonable. So we can just flavor that away in the character. It doesn't have to necessarily be a character with access to teleportation circle as a spell, though that's definitely doable as a 12th level character with enough levels in the right class. So we could do that. And we know we have to have some form of transformation into beast-like creatures, which, again, can be achieved via the Polymorph Spell. Again, there's some clearly not bestial creatures, a little bit more magical, but, you know, I mean, at the same time, I'm going to take some liberties with the character build, and I also, you know, I invite you guys to challenge me on my decisions and help me build a character the way you think it should be built, because, you know, I'm here doing this because someone asked me to do so. But if you guys feel exceptionally strong about this character from its source material and you want to see it done right, and you don't think I'm doing a good enough job, I want to hear why and how I can make that better. So, again, if you're in the chat, any of the chats across any of the social platforms, and you have thoughts about how Howl from Howl's Moving Castle should be built, please chime in. So, again, like I said, thinking of giving up your heart sounds like a pact. That's a deal. That is Warlocky. I can kind of get behind that. And then, as far as a type of wizard, they don't really do a lot of magic. Again, we're talking 13 years ago I watched this movie. So, if I'm wrong, please chime in. I'm actually going to send out a message to the person who suggested that I do this, because I want to make sure that she can chime in on this. So give me 2 seconds, guys. But I think I'm leaning more towards illusion, illusion and enchantment magic. So we could argue maybe an illusion wizard or an enchantment school wizard, which means we need to have decent intelligence. He's obviously very pretty, so charisma. Again, even though I am a big advocate of charisma, it does not equal attractiveness. It's just a number. But in this scenario, I think I can make that argument. Also, if we decide to go with levels of Warlock, charisma is a necessity for that as well. So, let's just send this over to Katie right now. I'm building Howl right now. FYI. If you want to chime in. Okay, so that's that. So let's look at some Warlocks, right? So we can argue Fiend Pack based on Devil-type dealings. I think that that could make some sense. But the abilities of the Fiend Warlock just don't really jive in my brain. We can go look at those, right? So let's jump in here. And we'll go down to... Let's shut the races tab here, so we don't need all that space taken up. Warlock. Okay, so what do we get if we decide that Warlock is indeed the class we're going to go with? We're going to get some wonky magic, which is okay. We're going to get a couple of cantrips. We're going to get some invocations, which I think is probably one of our strongest arguments towards Warlock. Some of the things like Mask of Many Faces, Sculptor of Flesh, possibly even, Beguiling Influence, things like this that are changing of appearances and things of that nature. Maybe a Master of Myriad Forms. There she is. Hello, Katie. Welcome aboard. We haven't really gotten started. We've just been having conversation here about how to build Howl, and I wanted to say, one, happy early birthday, right? I believe, because I don't think your birthday is today, and if it is, happy belated birthday for me not telling you because I'm a bad friend. Quick, Facebook, why don't you tell me it's her birthday? Maybe it's tomorrow? It's Friday. Okay, cool. So, alright, well, I'll have to send you happy birthday again on Friday. So, Katie, we're building Howl. We haven't actually set up stats, and I prefaced this stream with the fact that this is a character build for you, so I want your opinion on this. I watched Howl's Moving Castle about 13 years ago, and I didn't get a chance to rewatch it this weekend. And sometimes Studio Ghibli films blend together in my brain. But anyway, so we were going down the road of possibly Warlock for deal with the, giving up your heart kind of a thing. And some stuff kind of makes sense, like Sculptor of Flesh for casting Polymorph to transform into beasts, kind of deals with the whole transformation side of things. Mask of Many Faces, the disguises, the fact that his hair changes color and all that kind of stuff a bunch of times. Because my issue is that he's referred to as a wizard 90% of the film, and I can't really shoehorn him into a school of magic. Like illusion or enchantment is close. But okay, I'm glad you're on board with Warlock. So, and I'm thinking, well, now that kind of lets us build some stats in here, so, right? So, we're probably going to put the 15 in Charisma. I think we're probably just going to make the Strength 8 just because, I don't know, that kind of makes sense. We'll add Constitution is 14, 13, 12, 12, 10. And then we gotta add, we're a variant human here, so we gotta add in, first of all, let's go with, well, we'll worry about skills after the fact. So let's add in our 2 ability score improvements. So we're gonna go ahead and add 1 to Charisma, make that a 16. And gonna get a starting feat. What do Warlocks get? Warlocks are gonna get Wisdom and Charisma. Really? I thought Warlocks, Sorcerers get Constitution. Saving throw proficiency. We get 2 from Arcana, Deception, History, Investigation, Nature, Religion. So Arcana, I feel like Deception, we can probably grab that in a Evocation. History and Arcana. So then we can go ahead and make this go up to a 14. And then we need to grab a feat for first level. Let us think. We might grab like a wonky one that you normally wouldn't potentially grab, like Linguist or Keen Mind. Possibly Lucky is never a bad feat. I'm just trying to think. Or I don't know. Kind of drawing a blank on a good idea for a starting feat. Maybe we'll come back to that. Throw that here. Alright. So, we've got that. We've got, what would you go with as far as a background? Maybe Sage as a background? That would give you Arcana and History, which is what we picked. So then we'll swap it out and go with Performance and Persuasion. I think that that's a reasonable, and then we get 1 more for being a human. And we'll just give him Perception because this is Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, and why kneecap a character by not giving them Perception proficiency if you can help it. Okay. So, we're gonna go Warlock. We're gonna go Warlock 12. We kind of agreed to that, so I think that that's reasonable. This is 30 feet of movement. So, let us see. We need to pick a type of Warlock, because Warlocks decide at first level. Okay. We could go with Mage Slayer. Mage Slayer is a feat I always want to take, and I never take it. Because every time I get into a fight with a spellcaster as a martial character, I'm like, man, really wish I had Mage Slayer right now. And I never have it, and I always regret it. So one day, I will play Mage Slayer. But it's not today. Eventually. Just like one day I'll get to explore all the characters that I really want to play and never will get a chance to do so. But hey, this is about Katie's birthday stream, so let's not taint it with my wants and needs for character creation. Let's see, you. Awesome. This is great. Drunk for it and everything. Perfect. That's what we want to hear. So, okay, we've got our base stuff here. Then let's jump back up to Warlock. See what else we're gonna get, because we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna get all of our stuff right at the start. So we're gonna jump up to 12. We're gonna have 4 cantrips. We're gonna have 11 spells known, 3 slots, which is a wonderful thing. Those are all going to be 5th level slots, and we're going to have 6 invocations. That's a pretty solid start for us, and we'll have 1 Mystic Arcanum. Which I think I know what it's going to be. So that works out pretty well for us out the gate. So let's go to our Warlock stuff. And we're going to go to, I guess, the spells page. So let's start with our 4 cantrips, right? Let's take a look at our Warlock cantrips here on my phone. What do we got? Well, I think we could probably think Minor Illusion is a reasonable one. That's 1. I think Prestidigitation is also reasonable. What other Warlock cantrips are there? Now, see, I want to say Eldridge Blast. We might have to say Eldridge Blast because we're playing a Warlock. And I feel like you can't play a Warlock without having Eldritch Blast. Even if you are a Hexblade and you're only going to hit things with a sword or an axe or whatever you want, you still probably end up taking Eldritch Blast because you're a Warlock and that's what you do. Again, maybe you never use it, but you gotta have it. And then I think I'm gonna go with Mage Hand. I mean, it's a fairly reasonable utility spell, and, you know, you can... That's the way I also explain away a lot of minor telekinesis in pop culture characters, is it via Mage Hand. That's how, like, I think that's how you use... How I've replicated the Force, I think, for Darth Vader. We used Mage Hand, right? Like, that was a thing. So anytime that people, like an Accio spell, if you were, say, a Harry Potter type character, would probably be a reskinned Mage Hand, just going and picking it up. So I think that that's okay. So we're going to have 11 spells known, and we have more than enough room here. We have 11 spells known. We have 3 slots. So we're just going to leave that there. Unfortunately, I don't have my Warlock character sheet set up here. We'll get there, though. Alright, so that covers pretty much everything. And then we've got our 1 Mystic Arcanum, which we'll throw that in here. So, what are we going to get at first level? We get our Pact Magic feature from our, what is going to be our patron. So this is where I think we're going to dip back into an Unearthed Arcana that has probably been forgotten by a lot of people. And I think this is probably the best option. You could argue, as I said, you could argue Fiend, right? Give up your heart to a devil or a demon. That's theoretically, on the surface level, a Fiend pact, right there. But the stuff just doesn't really strike me Howlish, right? Hurl through hell. I mean, again, he won't have access to that, but Fiendish Resilience, like, I don't know, these just don't really, they don't give me the vibe, right? So let's go over here to Unearthed Arcana, the Faithful, and there was the otherworldly patron, the Seeker. Your patron is an inscrutable being who travels between the astral plane in search of knowledge and secrets. So travels to the astral plane for knowledge and secrets. In return for your patron's gift, you wander the world seeking lore you can share with the Seeker. Your patron could be any deity or any other powerful entity dedicated to knowledge or forgotten lore. Celestian is an ideal patron for Greyhawk, blah, blah, blah. I mean, right here. In return for your patron's gift, you wander the world seeking lore that you can share with the Seeker. That pretty much sells it for me, so that's what we're going with. So what do we get at level 1? We get Shielding Aurora. You can invoke the Seeker's power to protect you from harm. As a bonus action, you can create a whirling aurora of brilliant energy that swirls around you. Till the end of your next turn, you gain resistance to all damage. And if a hostile creature ends its turn within 10 feet of you, it takes radiant damage equal to your Warlock level plus your Charisma mod. Once per short or long rest. That... I don't know, that works for me. I don't know about you guys, but that is what we're going with, because I think that makes sense. So this was bonus action. Maybe I should play one of these. This could kind of be fun, right? Like, this is one I've never seen anybody play this in any stream that I've ever watched. I've never, like, again, it's Unearthed Arcana, so some people have their qualms about using Unearthed Arcana in an actual game, but this could be kind of fun. I think I could get down with this. Until the end of your next turn, resistance. Until next turn, resistance to all damage. Also, based on all the shit they've had thrown out for Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes, if they were going to throw a class in Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes, this would be the one to do it, because this kind of has that whole otherworldly traveler vibe. But, and it kind of fits with Mordenkainen, if you ask me. Hostile creatures within 10 feet take radiant damage equal to... equal to half your warlock level. Damage 2 equal to your warlock level. Plus charisma mod. To your warlock. Plus charm mod. Once per short / long rest. Okay. Then at second level. Oh, we're gonna choose some spells, right? So we're gonna have at this point we're gonna know 2 spells from the Warlock spell list. Let's go over here and look at our Featherfall and Jump are our Seeker spells. And we just get 2 overall. 2 overall. Let's see here. What do we got as far as Warlock spells? Not a lot of great ones, honestly. Hex, right? We're a Warlock. We could probably do Hex. Armors, let's go with Charm Person. That seems like a suiting option. Charm Person. Let's see. Charm Person. An Unseen Servant, you could make an argument. More options from over here. Is it bad that I kind of want to be like Featherfall, right? I don't know. Warlock spells are also usually really kind of dark and damaging too. Not always, but... You know what? Doesn't make a lot of sense. We're gonna go comprehend languages. There we go. Alright, level 2. Another spell known. Shit. I'm gonna throw in Featherfall. We're probably gonna swap some of these out as we get a little higher up. But at level 2, we get 2 invocations known. So let's jump down to our Warlock Invocation list. Now they did add, it's not in this one, they did add invocations for the Seeker in the original Hexblade on Unearthed Arcana. So let's see what they were. Archfey. Patron of the Seeker. Okay, here we go. Seeker bids you to travel in search of knowledge and little can prevent you. You ignore difficult terrain, have advantage on all checks to escape grapple, manacles, rope bindings, and advantage on saving throws against paralysis. And then Seeker's Speech. When you complete a long rest, you can pick 2 languages. You gain the ability to speak, read, and write those chosen languages until you finish a long rest. Well, we're definitely going to go with this Path of the Seeker Invocation. So let's go here. Invocations. Path of the Seeker. Yeah, Mask of Many Faces is definitely going to be the next one we choose for this level here. So Path of the Seeker is this. Mask of Many Faces. Disguise, Self, Farewell. So that is 2. Then at level 3, we're going to get to choose our Pact. So we're going to go here. We're going to say Pact of the... I think we're probably going to choose this one, right? Pact of the Star Chain. The Seeker grants you a chain forged from starlight, decorated with 7 gleaming motes of brightness. While the chain is on your person, you know the augury spell and can cast it as a ritual. The spell doesn't count against your number of spells known. Additionally, you can invoke the Seeker's power to gain advantage on an intelligence check. No? You don't think? Star Chain? What would you suggest? But, I'll keep reading. Advantage on intelligence check. While you carry this item, once you use this ability, you cannot use it again until you complete a short rest. Actually, that's kind of shitty. It's just augury and advantage on 1 intelligence check. Well, that is dumb. That's dumb. Yeah. Alright. You can go back to the chain, right? Oh, actually, Pact of the Tome, you could argue for just gathered magics over time. Right? Like, you have gathered you've been traveling around, gaining magics. Pact of the Chain, given... I mean, it's 3 cantrips, but if we choose the Book of Shadows option, that gives you access to every ritual spell. So that's something. And this would have been so much easier to do in in 3.5. Because there's so many things that just make it so much easier. But this is the 5th edition channel. So we're going to go Pact of the Tome. Now we get to choose any 3 cantrips. So obviously we're going to choose Guidance because it's the best spell ever. We're going to choose Mending because this is a stream with Katie on it, and that's just funny to me. Let's see. What other options do we have? One more cantrip. Let's see here. I'm leaning towards, I mean, maybe Thaumaturgy, maybe Message, Dancing Lights. Well, either way, we'll go up here, we'll say 3 extra cantrips. We'll just keep moving on. Oh, so we're gonna raise this to level 4. That goes to 18. Act Boon. Oh, we do get another spell known. We also now have access to the 2nd level spell list. Pact of, we have Levitate and Locate Object. You can maybe argue Locate Object. But let's see what we have for Warlock 2nd level spells. I think we're gonna go with Suggestion. Still 2 invocations. That should be actually 5 spells. No, I'm dumb. That's 4. Still doesn't make sense that that's a divination spell. Nope, can't use that. And then invisibility. Let's see, 5th level. Oh shit, we got another cantrip. Man, we're dealing. We got a lot of cantrips here. Let's go to our Warlock cantrips real quick. Throw on friends. We still have the cantrip from any class. I don't think we can go Druidcraft. Got all of the fun RP options here. Alright, so we'll get another invocation at 5th level. Oh shit, we get 3rd level spells, damn it. Alright, so 3, still 2 slots we don't have to worry about. Yeah, Dimension Door and Fly for sure. So we did just get they don't, because that would be a nice thing for Warlocks to just have access to Polymorph, but they don't. So, what are the starter ones here? Clairvoyance and Sending isn't bad, but Warlocks get at 3rd level. They can get Fly, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Warlocks, so we got Fly. Dimension Door we're gonna wait a level for. So we got Fly. We need another Invocation. Oh. Book of Ancient Secrets. That's actually going to allow us to swap out Comprehend Languages, because we just got access to essentially every ritual, so there's no need to have that anymore. Comprehend Languages. So I'm gonna go with Dispel Magic, because it's kind of a standard, right? If you have access to it, Dispel Magic, Counterspell, reasonable options. Does have access to Sending and Clairvoyance. Not bad options either. Alright, back to the list here. That was 5. 6 spells known. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. They're 3rd level slots. There are 3 invocations. Okay, Otherworldly Patron number, feature number 2. Astral Refuge. As an action, you can disappear from the world for a brief moment, enter the astral plane, taking advantage of its timeless nature. While you're in the astral plane, you can take 2 actions to cast spells that target only you. After using those 2 actions, you return to the space you occupied and your turn ends. Okay. Refuge. Astral plane. Cast 2 spells as an action that target you. Then return to the space you left. See, this is a really cool option, not to talk about just character building in general. This is a really cool thing if you're multi-class, right? Because this is like almost like an action surge. As an action, you disappear to another plane of existence. You do 2 spells on you that only target you. So either buff spells or heal spells, and then you pop back. So like if you were dying and you're like, oh shit, my turn, boop, disappear, double heals, back into the game. So it's 7th level. Oh, sorry, 6. We get another spell. So we have 6 spells. We get a 7th spell. I'm gonna take tongues. So no, because that's an invocation we can maybe get. Go with major image. Kind of makes some sense. Then comes level 7. We get another invocation. Now we get 4th level spells. So here comes Dimension Door. So there's Dimension Door for our 7th level. Get another invocation, which we are going to take right here. It's going to be Sculptor of Flesh. Cast Polymorph once for a long rest. So there's our Polymorph that we wanted, that we don't get, but now we do. And we're going to get another... Oh, we already took the spell, so we're good. I believe Sculptor of Flesh is 7th level. It is once for long rest. Okay. Oh, using a slot. That sucks. Okay. 8. Well, this will be nice and easy. 20. And we get a spell at level 8. We do get another 4th level spell at level 8. Alright, sweet. We are gonna take... Could argue summon Greater Demon. I'm torn between Charm Monster. I'll just go Charm Monster. Fitting. We are very charismatic, after all. Same. So, 9th level, we get another spell and another invocation. And now we have access to our first 5th level spell. That is a good question. Oh, actually, I should look over here, too. Keep forgetting. Legend Lore is actually a pretty reasonable one, so is Pass Wall. So we may be getting some mileage out of those. I love Synaptic Static, but that is way too murdery. There's also Scrying. Go with Far Step. That's a big teleporter. 1. We get to teleport around a bunch. Get a lot of use out of that 5th level slot for that one teleport. We got another invocation at 10? Or at 9? We did. So another invocation at level 9. What do we have here? Dreadful Words, Confusion, Devil Sight. Levitate. You know, I didn't grab Xanathar's. Oh, you know what? Where is it? Eldritch Sight, where it's detect magic all the time? Yeah. Detect magic at always nice. That was, wait a minute, is that level 10? No. Was it? Yes, it was. So we should have 10 spells known. No, that was level 9. Get my levels mixed up. Alright. One more cantrip, folks. One more cantrip. What the hell is left? Warlock cantrips. They're running out of options here. Yeah, wow. Man. I don't know. Let's try... You know what? Because no one ever chooses it, I'm going to choose Create Bonfire. That's okay. Another Warlock cantrip. Because we just hit level 10. And Warlock cantrips are pretty limited, and we have 1,000,000 cantrips. So, I picked Create Bonfire. If you think of a better one, we'll use that. Okay, then we're going to go with Create Bonfire, because I really like it and no one else does. Makes sense. No longer need to breathe. Oh, you know what? That was something I wanted to see if we would get access to. We don't get Conjure Elemental. It's kind of a bummer. Is that an invocation? We might be able to get that with an invocation. You no longer need to breathe, and you gain resistance to fire and cold damage. Okay. This was called Far Wanderer. Far Wanderer. No longer need to breathe. Resistance to cold. Cold and fire? Cold and fire damage. Fire damage. Okay. So that pretty much does it for here. Then we go back. That was level 10. Then level 11, we got one more spell known. I think we're going to take Legend Lore, because that makes a lot of sense. And then, do we get a level 11? We don't get a new invocation. We do get our Mystic Arcanum, though. Which is gonna be, hopefully... Fuck. It's not an option for box, man. You're killing me here. What's Arcane Gate do? Link teleportation portal that remains open for 10 minutes. That might be our best option. Okay, well, you know what? We might just bend the rules a little bit because my stream. Okay, what the hell level is that spell? Is it 5th level? Oh shit, it's 5th level. Oh, well, it's not access, so that makes sense. Alright, so then, you know what? We're gonna go with Arcane Gate. And we're just gonna say that he can make it permanent. Create a link teleportation portal, remains open for the duration. Choose 2 points on the ground you can see. And basically that will be like the magical door will be Arcane Gate. I'm just gonna do teleportation circle, but Warlocks don't have access to it, and it's actually a 5th level spell. Arcane Gate. Unlimited. Extended distance. Oh, Jason Lapel, thank you for joining from via YouTube. Your internet can't handle Twitch. You know what? Is that a recent thing? Because that may be my fault. Because there's a thing called transcoding, which allows you to select the quality of your Twitch streams. And I have been going for more high quality Twitch streams, increasing the speed at which it works. So I guess it, if it doesn't, if you don't have access to it and you don't downscale, that could be why. No, I guess I could just have the chat capture this, but that's another story. So anyway, well, thank you. I'm glad you're able to join via YouTube. So again, thank you to anybody else who's out there now that hasn't spoken up from Mixer or Twitter via Periscope. We appreciate all of you. If you have suggestions, feel free to jump in. So, anyway, I lost my train of thought. All right, Mystic Arcanum. Gotcha. Too many adds and layers. So we'll call this magical door. So that's that. Then at level 12, we're gonna get a final ability score improvement. No extra spells, no extra nothing, but we do get a new invocation. So let us see what we have here. There's one I thought. Here it is. Minions of Chaos. Cast Conjure Elemental once. Using a Warlock spell slot, you don't get to do so again until you finish a long rest. That'll be our last one. That'll be Calcifer for you, Katie. So that'll be to summon a Fire Elemental. Minion of Chaos. Once per long rest. Cast Conjure Elemental. Okay, that's that. And then we need one more ability score boost. Gotcha. We're just gonna dex a 14. I don't think that's unreasonable. We can go through and add in all of our ability scores here. 5, -1, 2, 2, 0, 6, 9. We'll fill in all these too. 2, 2, 4, -1, 5, 4, 5, 0, 2, 0, 6, 9, 9, 0, 2, 2, 2. Initiative is a 2. AC. Oh yeah, we didn't do anything for AC. Well, that makes the AC at 12 currently. Passive perception is a 16. And then HP would be 7 times 11 is 77. Plus 10 is 87. Okay, so based on what I have currently, this is the Howl that we have here. So these are stat breaks out fairly average, although casting stat is above average and is actually to the human maximum. We have a handful of different skills to be expected by a so-called wizard. We went with the Seeker Patron because it's about traveling around and gathering knowledge and things. Gives us some cool defensive abilities. They're also flashy and full of light. We went with Pact of the Tome because it gets you access to additional spells, and then also the ability to obtain any ritual spell, gathering your knowledge, increasing your magic. Astral Refuge, with your kind of transporting between realms, can kind of give you a nice way to get away from things. Because you've traveled so much, you're infused with just natural resiliency, like the lack of need to breathe, things like that. Due to backstory decisions, we are a mage slayer, so we are very good at fighting other magic users, which is always a fun thing when you're a magic user. Invocations, we went with Path of the Seeker to deal with our whole, we're that good at traveling that we're easily able to escape bonds and things of that nature. Mask of Many Faces to disguise and change outfits and things at will. Book of the Ancient Secrets to gain access to those ritual spells. Sculptor of Flesh to transform via polymorph through cause of our various Howl's curses that transforms him into different beasts. Eldritch Sight, detect magic at will. When you're a powerful wizard, you should be able to see magic. And Minions of Chaos to summon a elemental, specifically focused here on a fire elemental for Calcifer. Then we have our cantrips. We have basically all of the RP ones and a couple of damaging ones. For our spell slots, again, themed very much around the ability to move and charm. Charm Person, Featherfall, Suggestion, Fly, Dimension Door, Far Step, Charming Spells, Legend Lore, and then again our one Mystic Arcanum that we get is Arcane Gate, but to fit the story-wise, this is unlimited, has extended distance, and this is kind of Howl's magical door, if you will. Oh, I should put the save DC, huh? 5, 9, 17, and then this is 9. Warlock. So, and correct me if I'm wrong, folks, because I'm trying to think back. Normally, this is the part where that takes the longest for me, is where I sit here and I go through everyone's magic items. I can't think of any specific magic items. Other than, like, doing the thing that I try to prevent myself from doing, be like, oh, they're a high-level character. They have this many magic items. And it's just like, that. You could make that argument about anything, and it takes forever to fill up magic item slots just because, like, oh, you're a level 12 character. You should have all of your attunement slot filled. Here's all of your items. And I try to not do that just for the sake of doing that. Thoughts? Specific magic items? Or anything that was magical? I can't think of anything specifically. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have anything. So I think I'm probably going to end this episode because I'm having a hard time thinking of any specific items that call out to me that are, like, other than, like, oh, he's a 12th level wizard, he should have Robes of the Archmagi and Staff of Power and things of that nature. So. I guess you could argue Cloak of the Bat. Oh, man. And we got Jordan over on YouTube. See, this multi-stream option is wonderful. I gotta say. It's allowed me to bring in so many other people. Streaming to multiple platforms. Yeah, well, we were going with Polymorph for that, but we could go with Yeah, why not? We'll add a cloak of the bat, and we'll say we'll call it cloak of the bird, right? We'll say functions as a cloak of the bat, except reskinned for a bird. I'm fine with that. And that may be kind of good enough for us, I think. But yeah, sorry guys, this is always hard when you run. Certain characters prove to be more difficult than others based on, like, not specific. I mean, one, when you haven't watched the movie in 13 years. I was thinking more, rather than an apparatus of Qualish, more of like a floating Darren's instrument fortress that can fly. But you know, sometimes characters prove fairly difficult because they kind of live in a situation where there's not a lot of direct D&D analogies, or which I feel like fits this one relatively well compared to some other characters I've done in the past where they're the protagonist of an anime and they're just way too powerful to be able to be a D&D character. Like when we did Ichigo from Bleach, depending on where you grab in that storyline, you're looking at like god level power. It'd be the same thing with trying to do like Goku or later end series Naruto. It just doesn't work. Like those kind of characters are just too powerful to build in D&D, especially if I'm limiting myself to a 12th level character. So I'm gonna save this guy right here. So we're gonna go to our it builds character sheet folder. PC 26 Owl. So that is saved. So now I'm gonna pull up. I'll have to switch it over for you guys. But I'm gonna pull up my plan, because if you guys are unaware, and I can't send this out to the folks at YouTube because I don't have chatbots set up for that, but I have a big long running list of characters that I've been working on. But if you're on YouTube and you'd like to see it, it's bit.ly/IBC plan, and that is the list of all of my It Builds character plans, but I'm actually updating that as we speak. And I will pull that up on the screen so you guys can see what's coming next. And if you guys want to make suggestions, you're more than welcome to, and I add those to my list. So, fun fact for those of you out there, I just released my Captain America build today that we built, not last week, but the week before, on the 11th. I built Captain America earlier in the year. I built Iron Man, Tony Stark. And as per suggestion from you guys, the fans, I'm going to have some of my friends play. We're going to basically live out Civil War and have my Captain America fight my Iron Man, and we'll see who wins in that fight. So, let's see. That should be done. Done. Great. So let me throw this up over here. We can just do another window capture. And we will grab this. And we will, this is why you should do this. There we go. So folks, here you go. This is the current list. So as you can see, we started all the way back on my birthday last year doing Trevor Belmont from the Netflix series Castlevania. And I've built everything from Tuxedo Mask, from Sailor Moon, to some people just sent me suggestions like build a polearm wielding bugbear build, or the most dragony dragon build possible, or a Warforged pirate to people like, again, Ichigo, Sephiroth. Yep, Jason there in the chat suggested Groot. I did Samurai Jack. We did Shrek because somebody wanted Shrek. I did Tingle from The Legend of Zelda. Leroy Jenkins, Ghost Rider, Guts, Kenshin, all of these different characters. And then you can see here's my list going forward. So because I had to do a little switching around to make sure that Howl landed on this day for Katie for her birthday, the 10th Doctor will be next week, followed by Kim Possible and Castiel. We've got some cartoon characters like Flapjack. We've got trying to replicate the Bloodstorm Blade build from 3.5, Red or Ash from Pokemon, Doctor Strange, John Constantine. We've got some biblical characters thrown in here. We've got some more anime characters like Yusuke from Yu Yu Hakusho, Kirito from Sword Art Online. We got Ben 10 in here. We got a Bionicle character. We got a Disney character. We got Bulk and Skull, the bullies from Power Rangers, were added in as well. So again, I take all suggestions. They get on the list, but if you guys see, the list goes through October at the moment. If anything comes up where I have to miss a stream, that list just gets pushed out even further. So, you guys can also go to, I think it's bit.ly/IBC Sheets. Nope, that's not it. Let me check in Twitch real quick, because this will work over here. I thought that is it. Yeah, well, either way, I think it's... I'll get the link. I think it's bit.ly, yeah, /IBC Sheets. And that will get you access to all of the character sheets for every character that I've built so far. If you'd like to pull them up and see how I built Tuxedo Mask, and what his stats were, and what his spells were, and things like that, you can go ahead and do that. So those are all options if you'd like to check those out or use them in your own game or what have you. So thank you guys again very much for watching and joining me here. Yeah, I think we're going to probably close this out. Katie, I hope that worked okay for your birthday. I know you really wanted this character. We can always refine it off stream if you want. But if you guys, again, have suggestions that you want me to build, you can just throw them out there for me. Leave them in the comments on any of these videos. Hit me up on social media. And I will build whatever you want. It's just all a matter of timing at this point. So I hope you guys who came out, have been here, have enjoyed being here live. And thank you again to our folks viewing from YouTube, the folks viewing on Periscope, and the folks over on Mixer. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. And let's see. Tune in Monday for the continuation of our Horde of the Dragon Queen campaign. Tuesday returns to my homebrew campaign. And then next Wednesday is Doctor Who. I'll be building here. And then be on the lookout for last night's Evil campaign video to go up soon, followed by our Princess of the Apocalypse campaign, the video of this if you missed it, and a handful of other things that I've got working behind the scenes as well. So, anyway guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.